Okay, so I found the video on YouTube. I had to figure out which video I was actually watching because since then I've been watching a whole bunch of other ones, so I don't know exactly which one I was watching. But I saw her making the little wax melt things, and I was like, oh my God, that's really cool. So I went to Michael's, and they have these for like $5, or they might be 10 if you get the bigger ones. So I got some big ones, but these are for crayons. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with those in a little while. But I bought a bunch of these, like, right? This one was for the whipped coffee. They look kind of like boobs now, but I did it for the whipped coffee flavor candle, and it's so cute. So then I just took the candles and I peeled, well, this one's not that great, but I peeled the bottom sticker off of the bottoms just so when they start boiling in the water, they don't peel or whatever. And I got one of my really big saucepans, so I use that kind of saucepan because I want to be able to like stand them inside of there. I mean, you can use something like that, but this one was the best, and that just happens to be like something that's really useful. So if you have one of those, it's really, really good. So then what you're gonna do is let the water get to like simmer. So don't put it so hot that it's like you're about to boil like noodles, but get it hot to the point where there's like bubbles all over the bottom at least. Like let it get a little, simmery or whatever. But I mean medium to like medium low. Once you get it to like that boiling, get it to like medium low so it's like really hot. And then stick the candles inside of there. The best way to know how much water you need is how the level of the candle is, right? So like make sure that there's enough water in the pot that when you stick the candle in there, the water is a little bit above the level of where the leftover candle is. That way it's going to like heat it up and melt the candle evenly and not like burn it or, whatever. It doesn't really matter because it's wax and it's going to melt anyway. But you know what I'm saying. It melts faster when it's... And then once you get it good and hot, you might want to use some tongs or like little like gloves or whatever to take it out. The top of the glass candle jar is not actually very hot, but still be careful because it's glass and it's in boiling hot water. But anyway, so then you take it out and then get like a spoon, like a little silicone spoon or something like that. It gets messy when you pour it. That's one of the things that in the video, like you'll see people like pouring the shit and I'm like, okay, I tried to pour it and that's messy as fuck. So just get a spoon or a really small ladle or of some sort or whatever that you can like easily kind of dip and pour into each one of these. So I took that from basically, bakers pouring and molding chocolates, basically. That's how you want to do it. And then... because they're silicone, they're really floppy. So putting the liquid wax inside of there, you can do two things. You can make sure it's on a surface that like no one's gonna get to it for as long as it takes to cool, or make sure that you put the silicone things on like a tray or whatever that can fit in your fridge. If you can do that and you have space in your fridge, then it'll be really fast. Like you put the wax melts in there and let them cool for like 5 or 10 minutes in the fridge. And then when you pop them out, don't put them in the freezer. They'll break if you put them in the freezer because wax gets way too cold and you still want them to be soft enough to be able to like poke out of the silicone mold without being too hard. So yeah. So once they get cool enough, like I said, it's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. It'll be really obvious. But also, the bigger silicone molds you use, the longer you're going to need to have them in the fridge because 5 or 10 minutes may not be enough. And you want to make sure that the middles of those wax molds are also hardened. That's the main reason why I got the small ones too, because it takes a little less time to like dry and like harden. And then I can just poke them right out. And then you just poke them out. And then I kept the jar. I don't know why these folks on YouTube would just sit there and like put them in a Ziploc bag. That's tacky. Just keep the jar that the candle was in and then put the wax mold in the jar, since it's not common. But yeah. Oh yeah, so also once it's all the way melted out, because even if there's not like a whole lot, yeah, that's a tall candle, so you don't actually need the water to like go all the way as high as the wax will go, because as it's melting it'll just continue to melt down. But then once it gets melted enough, I mean, I guess you can or don't have to take the wicks out, but if it's easy to take the wicks out, like get some like tongs or whatever, and you should be able to kind of like grab the wick at the bottom that's closest to the metal part and kind of like shift it a little bit and it'll come off. It might be kind of easy, but I know ours had like this weird kind of gluey stuff on and I had to kind of like wiggle it a little bit, but it was still pretty easy to come off. And then just pull that out.